I'm 58 years old. I've been working in an office for over 30 years with a kind wife, grown up children, and a stable home. From the outside, my life seemed settled, but deep down, I carried a constant, quiet exhaustion that never went away. I started each day with 3 cups of coffee, not because I liked it, but because I needed it to stay alert and keep repeating the same old cycle. My eating habits were poor, mostly relying on processed food, and sometimes I skipped dinner just because I was too tired. I rarely exercised, and when I got home, I sat in front of the TV, falling asleep in a half awake state. I took blood pressure medication regularly, but I never truly understood why I needed it. I just knew my body was declining, but since I wasn't in obvious pain, I ignored it. I used to think, at this age, being tired is normal, but I didn't realize that this so called normal was slowly pushing me toward the edge. And then my body spoke in a way no one wants to hear. It was a Monday morning. Just like any other day, coffee in hand, tie loosely around my neck, getting ready to leave the house. But as I bent down to tie my shoes, my left hand suddenly felt heavy and numb. I tried to call my wife, but no words came out clearly. Everything became blurry and distorted, like a strange dream. My wife panicked and called for an ambulance. I only remember the sound of the sirens slicing through the quiet morning and the blinding hospital lights. A mild stroke, the doctor said. It sounded like a gentle phrase, but I knew this was a warning. Lying in that hospital bed, staring at the stark white ceiling, I couldn't stop thinking, is this it? Just a small slip of the body, and everything ends? I didn't die that day, but I had touched the fragile line between life and death. And that moment, helpless, cold, and invisible, changed me forever. Coming home from the hospital, I wasn't the same person I was just a week ago. My familiar house suddenly felt foreign. Sofas, dining table, kitchen, everything seemed to be questioning me. How have you lived these years? I sat quietly in the living room, not turning on the TV, not checking my phone. It was just me and the overwhelming silence. For the first time in my life, I didn't ask, what do I have to do today? Instead, I asked myself, what am I living for? I suddenly realized I had neglected myself for so long. I had been living like a machine, eating to fill my stomach, sleeping just to rest, working to pay the bills. I had never truly taken care of myself, never listened to my body when it was tired, never asked my heart when it was lonely. I started asking a bigger, truer question. If I were to live for another 10 or 20 years, how would I want to live them? And in that moment, I realized what's truly frightening is not death, but living without truly living. I didn't begin with grand gestures. No 90-day plans, no commitments to doctors or trainers. I just started from my own kitchen. I put away the large salt shaker I used to season every meal. I stopped buying frozen food, convenient packages that silently chipped away at my health. My wife taught me how to make a simple vegetable soup. I fumbled, spilled water, cut carrots unevenly, but she smiled, and I smiled along, with a peacefulness I had forgotten. Each morning, I tried to wake up early and walk around the neighborhood. At first, just for 15 minutes, my legs felt heavy and my breath was quick, but I kept moving, small steps for a body I had neglected. I learned to meditate. The first 5 minutes were uncomfortable. My mind raced like a child. But over time, I learned to sit still. And in that stillness, I began to hear what I had ignored for years, the gentle beat of my own heart. Not every day was easy. There were mornings when I woke up with a heavy body, a tired mind, and a head full of doubts. Do these small changes really matter? Is it worth it when my friends are living the same way and seem just fine? My friends invited me out for drinks, joking, you're old now, stop pretending to eat clean, live green, come on, live a little. Sometimes I laughed it off, other times I felt lost. It felt like I was rowing a boat upstream all alone. I wanted to give up, to skip my walks, leave the vegetable soup, even stop the few minutes of quiet meditation. But every time I thought about quitting, I remembered the moment in the hospital, when my hand was trembling, when I couldn't speak, and most of all, the look of fear in my wife's eyes. I couldn't go back to my old ways, not just because I was afraid of dying, but because I owed it to my loved ones to be a healthier, present version of myself. So I kept going. Not perfectly, but persistently. 1 year passed. Quietly, but profoundly. I no longer took blood pressure medication every morning. The doctor looked at my test results and nodded, stable. I slept better, no longer waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. with an erratic heartbeat. I lost 10 pounds, but more importantly, I felt lighter, both physically and mentally. My wife and I took that trip we had postponed for 15 years, a week in the peaceful mountains, no phones, no work. We held hands like we were young again, sitting by the fire, sharing things we had never said before. I reconnected with my son, the one who used to say I only knew how to work. Now we walk together every Sunday, not needing to talk much, just listening to each other through our presence. I used to live just to get through tasks. Now, every morning, I whisper to myself, "Thank you for still being here. And this time, I'm going to live for real." Don't wait until your body yells at you with pain to start listening. Don't wait until your heart is exhausted or until a stroke wakes you up to realize that life is slipping by unconsciously. Every day you wake up healthy is a gift, a priceless gift that we should never take for granted. I can't change the past. I couldn't avoid the stroke when it came, but I've learned how to avoid living as though I were already dead. Today, I know I can live stronger, happier, not just because I'm still alive, but because I'm living with meaning. If you're over 50, don't wait until it's too late. Start today with the smallest steps by loving yourself more, because every day you live is an opportunity to change and begin anew.